We got to venture into the BMW woods here. So here's our specimen for the video. We're going to try to get this thing started. This is going to be another one of those let's get it running videos. No way. No way. Our last registered in 2012. I don't know if it's been sitting since then or not, but I'm going to dig this thing out of the woods first. I'm going to throw it in the driveway so we have more room here to work on it. Welcome to the dog days of winter. Not a whole lot to do, but today is half warm. We got ourselves a non-running E34 here, so we're going to pay a visit to one of my favorite videos to make. I don't think I've ever made one for an E34 chassis. I think only older. If I have, it's been a long time, but we're going to go through and show you guys how to start a crank but no start E34. This car in particular happens to be a 1989 535i 5-speed, one of my favorite E34s. A fantastic car, should be pretty easy to figure out here. We actually saved this car from the LA fires. Well, I don't know if we saved it, but I bought this car in LA. So I know I missed a couple weeks and I apologize. I was out of town for car week and then I just got super sick with the flu. So I've just been unable to do anything. I've been backed up on every single project. It sucks, but let's dive in here. So as I said, this is a 535i 5-speed, cashmere beige over tan interior, everyone's favorite E34 spec. What's interesting here though is this car may totally appear cashmere beige, but wait, if you read the sticker here, it says island green metallic. Island green, there's almost no signs of it, except if you look in like the fuse box there, if you look down, I guess beneath the uppermost apparent layer of the engine bay. Even the inside of the hood is done. Even the door jambs are done. Someone once upon a time went through an extensive amount of work to paint this thing cashmere beige. Even like the trunk, like the whole inside of the trunk was done, except for where the fuel door cover would be. But like even the sidings there, like what? I don't know who loves cashmere beige enough to paint an entire car, jams and all, because that's an expensive paint job if done well. They did paint the trims, which is interesting. They painted the door handles, which is interesting. So it couldn't have been like, you know, a top tier paint job. But nonetheless, an extensive paint job, which is pretty interesting. Here is our M30B35, our patient for today. We have to get this thing fired up. First things first, we need some voltage. We got to get rid of this battery. It's not working for us. And the car that we are going to steal our battery out of is going to be the poor blue E34, because it's just chilling here. And I've already stole its battery once, so thank you, sir. Now it should just crank. All right, crank, no start, as we suspected. Now we're gonna jump into the troubleshooting. So always keep it simple. This car is actually reading like no fuel on the fuel gauge. So before we do anything, I'm gonna dump some gas in it. You never know, could just be low. Nope, wishful thinking. I mean, typically these things will start with pretty low fuel on them. So now we gotta actually do some troubleshooting. So we're gonna check for spark, check for fuel, do the basics, you guys know. Okay. Okay, plug, and then you wanna ground it on something metal, like the valve cover. That right there, you guys probably won't be able to see it. Oh yeah. All right, so we do have spark. So that means it's a fuel problem. If we have spark, that takes away basically the crank sensor, because the crank sensor we wouldn't have either. I kind of figured it was a fuel problem anyway, but that confirms. I'm gonna key on, and I'm actually gonna check for voltage over at the fuse box fuel pump relay, fuel pump fuse. So with the key on, we should be getting power, I believe, through the fuel pump fuse here, which fuel pump is 23, which is right here. So the thing's kind of freaking out, but it is going around 12 volt. The relay should be working. So here in the E-box, on the 535, it's pretty simple. On the 540 and the later cars, you have 3 of them in here. One's a main relay, one's a fuel pump relay. On the later cars, one is a O2 sensor relay, I believe. White is typically the main, and you know it's the main relay because it has 5 prongs on it. So this is not the one that we're jumping here, meaning this is basically our only other option for our fuel pump relay. This should have a violet and green wire attached to the underside. Yep, I don't know if you guys could see it on camera here. So given that we have voltage on the fuel pump fuse, it tells you that this relay basically should be working, but just to avoid that, we're gonna jumper it. Pins 30 and 86, I believe, are what should get you the jump, and we should hear the fuel pump kick on. One there, and we actually do not get fuel. You can hear the fuse box and all that stuff kicks on, but we're not getting a fuel pump, I don't think. Let's go back here and listen. No, this is dead. So I think we have a fuel pump that's bad. People have been in here before because these hose clamps are replaced, so I find it kind of hard to believe, but I think we'll jump in there. I think I have a whole spare unit laying around that's good, but I think I have a junk unit in here. Oh, here it is. Check that out. Now I know some of you in your troubleshooting places will not have a whole spare unit here, but I'm a BMW addict, so this is out of a 535 as well. Come here and we, with the jump box, jump the power for the fuel pump. You probably won't be able to hear this. It's the top left and the top middle, or I guess right. Now when you do this, you're supposed to hear the fuel pump run. When I do this, you can hear the pump thud, like it wants to kick on, but it will not kick on. So I think this pump is seized up. Now if we come over here, disconnect it. We're gonna tape this. Tape means left. No fuel at all. So this thing, I don't think there's been any fuel coming in or out of this. Yeah, there's fuel in there. And here's our culprit. Yes, you can see here, if we go to hit it, it just stutters and it doesn't spin. We'll come over here to a good one again. You can see there, spins. Slam this in, and you want to get it to click. There we go. Loop all these. Easy as that. Now remember, tape is on the left. Really? Oh, we just had a little crack there. Some time has passed since the first half of this video. You may be wondering what the hell is going on. Why is this E34 all the way back here in the yard? Well, so sun was setting and I was, doing the cranking after doing the fuel pump, and it was just not coming to life. It was the most bizarre, and I'll fire it up right now and let you guys hear it, but the most bizarre, like, half running condition. I mean, hardly running. And the sun was going down, so I said, all right, to hell with it. I loaded on the trailer, parked it in the woods, went on with my day, and Since then, I said, you know what, I'm gonna tackle this. So I pulled it off the trailer, and basically with just the power of the starter, I backed it off the trailer because it cannot run. So just bumping it with the starter, and then I basically rolled it down the hill, and it's just been laying here in the yard. So I'm sick of this car. I'm not gonna let this 535 beat me. We're gonna get this thing fired up. I got a couple bare tools and a spare AFM, and we're gonna figure this out. Okay, so you hear how it's like it's running, but will it actually come to life? Not really. You see how it kind of picked up and now it's dying? So the weird boop, boop, boop noise that we're hearing, I think, is related to the fact that the exhaust is cut off. I believe it should have the O2 sensor still hooked up. But even then, M30 B35 shouldn't need no O2 sensor to start. TPS shouldn't matter to start. I want to say the ICV and stuff, like vacuum leaks, it'll still run. It's just bizarre. So we're gonna go over here to the return, and I'm going to see if when I crank it, we get fuel coming through. I don't have a fuel pressure gauge. Hopefully we got something. So right here is our fuel pressure regulator. This is our fuel return line. So I'm gonna pull this off. There's no hose clamp on it, so that's a thing. And we're gonna see if, like, there is fuel dripping, but now we're gonna crank it and we're gonna see if fuel runs out. But at least this will confirm that our fuel pump and everything's working. Yeah, okay, that's a steady stream of fuel. So fuel is definitely not the problem, or at least fuel delivery. So replacing the pump did fix that problem. Now the question, and that's actually a strong stream, so I refuse to believe this is a fuel pressure problem. The fuel, I mean, it's definitely old and bad fuel, but man, I'd be damned if I haven't started these engines with old and bad fuel many, many times before. Let's go ahead and check the resistance of the crank position sensor, just in case. So it's this one right here. And we're looking for, I think, like 550 ohms or something like that, between 1 and 2. 467. It's actually a little low on the resistance scale, but if we have spark, it shouldn't be this. If I have to, I'll throw a crank sensor in it, but I don't think we're gonna have to. Let me just check all my physical connections here. I'm gonna check my ECU, make sure that we're not getting we don't have corrosion. No, the harness is good. ECU pins are good. That's not the problem. Intake boot is completely ripped. But again, I can't tell if it's ripped. That's pretty bad, actually. I'm gonna go see if I have a spare intake boot, because this is, I mean, yeah, I'm starting to think this is there's a total vacuum leak here. You know what, why not just bring you guys with? So this is the nightmare that I have to deal with when I want certain parts. I do have parts in the basement, but some stuff has to go in the shed, and it's a freaking mess. So that's an E36 box. Now, the last known location of this boot was, I believe, in this vicinity. I could swear, oh yes. I knew where this was. Is this a stock B35 though? Well, it's not ripped. This is bizarre. I don't know what the hell. This is from a 89 635, so this must just be some extra garbage. I'm gonna have to cap it off. Never doubt Josh's spare parts collection. So this is a little different because it's a 635 B35 boot. So I got this weird check valve here, which is, I got vacuum blockers on it. Okay, so yeah, look, no intake boot. It was literally completely torn. ICV hose is ripped. Yeah, there's a lot of red flags on this engine, but I think a ton of unfiltered air may have been the actual culprit of this. Maybe, I don't know, it's weird. Very weird running condition. If we have fuel and we have spark, and I'd like to think I have compression, I don't have the compression tester at the house. Otherwise, that was gonna be my next step. It's gotta be an air related issue. I mean, yeah, this boot is just junk. Look at this thing. So obviously it's torn completely right here, but we have cracks at that inlet. This one is completely cracked. Yeah, junk. Yep, that goes in. ICV. Nope, seems like we're still having our problem. Oh, we're leaking a ton of fuel. Like, I don't think fixing this fuel leak is going to, I don't think it's gonna make this car run any better, but it'll, you know, help us do something. Replacing old fuel line with old fuel line, brilliant. Hose could have been a little longer. This is gonna be questionable if it's gonna kink. Hey, but kinking means extra fuel pressure, so. I mean, it's there, like it wants to run, but it's just, messed up, man. I mean, this is just downright bizarre. I mean, like, what in the hell? That is the weirdest running condition I've ever seen. I mean, it's like it's just half life. I'm really starting to think it's a fuel problem. I think the fuel that's in this car is just not detonating. We've already tried ECUs. I don't know if I did it on camera or not, but I tried to swap out the ECU, didn't change anything, so we know that's not a problem. Let's just, a couple last ditch effort attempts. New AFM, let's try one more time, and then we're heading to the gas station because there's a fuel problem here. Oh, seems like it's running better. Jesus Christ. Freaking bizarre. I think it's detonating. I think it's a fuel. I think it's got bad fuel. But I'm trying to remember what fuel I put in this car. Because I did put it in from so I drained a parts car gas tank, but if it was a parts car, I think it ran. But it might have been from an E36 M3 parts car that's been sitting for a long time. Might have been bad fuel, but those have those have knock sensors. They might know how to accommodate a low crappy octane fuel. The B35 may be a little too primitive to know. So I'm starting to I'm thinking it might be fuel. Let's try to fire it up one more time. I mean, it's running, but it's just low RPM. Like, it's just struggling. How bizarre. But we did get it running. I think it just needs fuel. Because it'll idle, and then once you try to give it gas. All right, we're gonna recovery mission this. I think it needs gas. So we're gonna drag it up. I'm gonna dump this fuel out. And then we're gonna put new gas in it. Oh, she's a little heavy. Come on, truck, you got this. Oh shit, I thought this was, I thought this was on the tow hook. It's on the bumper. I just destroyed this rear bumper. Damn it, man. Now I've ruined both the bumpers on this car. Stupid. Damn, I just cracked this bumper clean. Stupid, man. All right, so we dragged the E34. We dragged it up, destroyed the bumper, confirmed it's an LSD. Now I'm going to dump all the fuel out of this tank. And then we are going to go to the gas station and get some more. My favorite part of E34s, at least early ones, I think the older 540s or the newer 540s, like 95s, got rid of this, but you have a drain on your gas tank. So we're gonna drain this in this bucket. This worthless fuel. I don't know, I think this might be the cause. I've never had bad gas actually cause issues on a car, but the odor of this fuel, I don't think that's igniting. And maybe it would if it was in a car that was like, I don't know, I guess just a little better kind of all around, like, but I feel like we're kind of fighting a lot of issues here. So like, you need the best that you can get. And you know, I've only ever smelled fuel like this in really old cars. But again, they ran, but again, I think most of the time they were M50s that have knock sensors. And I don't know if that really matters, but I think we're pinging, I think we're detonating, and I don't think it's contributing. So whatever, I'll go waste $20 on fuel. All right, so we're about done here. It's just dribbling. Only the guys that have really worked with old cars that have sat know this smell. It's you know it, right? When you smell it once and you know what it is, you always remember the smell. So I splurged on some 93. Smells like actual gasoline. I think this car will run again. We'll see. There we go. So that's only 2.5 gallons, and then I'm gonna get the other tank. We got ourselves some fresh fuel. Obviously the lines are still gonna have garbage fuel in them, so let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, I think it's coming to life. Get that old stuff out. Come on, get it out. Oh, it sounds stronger though. We gotta get that old crap out, and I think it's gonna dial the life here in a second. Come on, baby. Yep. Feel the 93. I know you wanna. Come on, get the fresh fuel, buddy. I'm afraid that the fresh fuel is not making much of a difference. It's definitely running better. It like literally is better, but we're still having problems. I'm actually getting a check engine light now, and it's for the engine coolant temperature sensor. The blue one here is for the cluster, not so much important how the car runs. This black one here is important to how the car runs. This is a very crucial part in cold start enrichment, fuel mixture, all that stuff. This, if it's unplugged, your car won't actually run. I'm getting a code for this. I don't know, I think it's unlikely, but I do have a spare, so we're gonna just, why not, right? I mean, yeah, that's a pretty gunked up sensor there. If this thing fires up and runs, I'd be amazed right now, but doubt it. Still has the check engine light, still running like crap. All right, I'm gonna pull a spark plug. I'm reaching at this point, but man, this has gotta be a solvable problem. I mean, this is ridiculous. So I'm gonna pull a plug and see what the plugs look like. And I mean, they could be totally soaked, who knows? So we'll see. I'm starting to get to the point of like a compression test, because this is just downright weird for a car to not be able to rev up, no power. Like, what in the hell is going on here? I mean, it's a pretty black, crappy spark plug, but it shouldn't, I don't think it should be causing running issues like this. Let's pull this one and see. Holy Christ. Wait a minute. This one wasn't even on. Oh shit, what the f? Touched the positive here. Go ahead and cover that up. Oh. Check engine light went away. Is it weak spark, maybe? I am confused as can be. We may have skipped over some basics. I'm gonna pull these plugs. I'm starting to think we got some bad spark. Because the fact that it improved a little bit with fixing that one tells me that we are definitely having some sparking issues. Weak spark, it seems like. I thought maybe it was fuel. I think it's a mixture of everything, but the fact that it got better fixing what was definitely a misfire on cylinder 3, I think maybe we've just drowned the car out starting it and all this. I don't know. This spark plug's not wet, but it's all corroded. I might have to replace these spark plugs. This one is pretty wet as well. Oh yeah, that's garbage. Wet. Yeah, these are junk. Oh, this one's completely junk. Holy crap. Look at, there's not even a gap. It's got oil or something between the gap of the electrode. This plug wasn't even firing, 100% not even firing. And they're crappy auto lights. All right, we're gonna throw new spark plugs in this thing. I think we might be nearing the end here. I've never actually had spark plugs solve a car that didn't really run. Just like how I was saying, I never had fuel that stopped a car from running. And you know, I'm not a veteran in the field for 40 years, so I still learn as I go. And so I don't know, there's weird things that happen, but like, I was taking a guess about the fuel, and it turned out to not be the case. But you live and you learn. My gut's telling me no way spark plugs are going to cause a car to run this bad, but I'm running out of options here. Like, I've done so much stuff on this car. What the hell was that noise? Did you guys hear that? Freezing my ass off. What the hell's going on? Sounds like a freaking war zone. Hopefully that's just fireworks for the Super Bowl. But it's kind of making sense, right? Like, we had really crappy fuel, and it, kind of wanted to start. Well, first we didn't have a working fuel pump, right? You solve that. Then you have crappy fuel. You put good fuel in and it runs better, but still crappy, right? And that will help the combustion. So you got crappy spark plugs with crappy fuel. That's not good at all. Once you get better fuel, then it compensates for some of the issues. But ultimately, if the spark plugs are still holding us back, plug it in. All right, are we ready? No way. No way. No way. Hey, we're idling at like 800 RPMs again, which is what it should be. Before it was at like 400. And it's running smooth. I guess the true test here will be, does it rev? So let's see. Oh yeah. It's definitely not the happiest engine, but the cats are cut off, well, the exhaust's cut off, and I saw that the O2 sensor wiring is shot. Freaking spark plugs the whole time? Are you kidding me? Never in my life have I had spark plugs cause this. I am freaking amazed right now. Holy crap. That felt like a battle that was never gonna end. This thing had me questioning everything I thought about myself. What a freaking bitch this car is. We did it. We got it running. We went through quite an excessive amount of troubleshooting things that we didn't have to do. Obviously, it's not running 100%. I'm guessing we still have vacuum leaks. The ICV hose is shot. ICV seems to be shot. wrong plugs, plug wires are trash. So there's a lot of things we could probably do to iron this out. I'm not doing all that. The point of this video is to show you guys, hey, you have a crank, no start E34, let's get it running. This is obviously a highly neglected car, but we got it back to life. And I'm gonna just be honest with you guys, I'm pretty amazed right now that spark plugs actually were the culprit of allowing this thing to run. I mean, yes, it makes total sense, like really bad spark plugs won't let a car run, but I've had so many, and I've had so many very neglected cars, and I have never had spark plugs stop a car from running. So this goes to show you the importance of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't go diving in and thinking, oh, my AFM's bad. If you don't have a spare one, that's like a $200 part. If you don't have a spare ECU, that's like a $200 part. If you don't have, you know, coolant temp sensors, if you don't have ICVs, it's very expensive to throw parts at a car. The way I went about this wasn't the way you probably should do it if you don't have parts, but I did it in a way of, get this shit out of my yard, it's freezing cold, I have the parts, let me figure this out. And I threw parts at it, and as you guys saw, kind of didn't fix it. I'm always learning, right? You guys say you learn from me, I still learn. This reinstilled the importance of checking the simple things, because I would have never guessed spark plugs were giving this car this many issues. I do think it was accumulative. I think it was some bad gas. I think it was bad spark plugs. I think it was vacuum leaks. So like, it's definitely, you know, it was definitely a mix of things, but at the end of the day, ultimately, it ended up being spark plug misfires. That's the importance, man. Don't ever overcomplicate it. You know, check the basics. Always check the basics. Why I check spark plugs last is beyond me. And there we have what seemed like the never-ending nightmare of a 535. We have conquered it and gotten it running again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the hiatus, man. Wintertime, being sick, being out of town. It was a nightmare, but I got some very, very exciting cars coming soon. So less junk like this, even though I do love playing with my junk. And there'll be some exciting, that sounded weird. I love playing with the junk cars, but there'll be some exciting stuff on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this maybe taught you something, and I'll see you in the next one.